Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Dan. It's a Wealthy Life. And I'm just going to sit here and chill for this video. And I need to figure out what I need to do with a 401k of mine. So I'm going to just kind of sit here and chill, maybe do a kind of a vlog for you guys and ask you guys maybe what I should do. So I worked at a company for 9 years, and recently the company was dissolved and sold off for parts. And I got rehired, fortunately. I did a video on it, and you guys will see that coming up soon. So I'll try to release this video after that one. But now I do need to figure out what I'm going to do with this 401k. A lot of people, when they kind of leave a job or get terminated, they typically cash out of a 401k. I'm not going to do that. Okay. I'm either going to keep it in the account and just let it sit and grow, or I'm going to roll it over into an IRA. And I'm kind of leaning towards rolling it over into the IRA. I do like to have full control over my money. Whenever you're in a 401k, you're really kind of limited to the funds that are available. I mean, the funds that I've been in have been doing pretty decent. I mean, I think they've, in the last 9 years, probably grew at least 8%, kind of with the SPY for the most part. They haven't done as good as probably the SPY, but, here and there, they've had some good years and some kind of mediocre years for the most part. And I'm in these funds that are like, one of them I've got a huge position in. It's like a 2045 retirement fund. It's one of those funds that transitions from stocks over to bonds as you get older, as the fund matures. So I'm heavily weighted in that one. And I've got some like a little bit of real estate, Fidelity Real Estate Fund, and I don't know, two other funds that I don't even really know what they do, to be honest. And they don't even return a dividend, to be honest. And I don't know, that's kind of frustrating to me. So I think I'm going to roll over the whole thing. Now I've got a pre-tax 401k, which is the bulk of the position. And then I just started a Roth 401k, which is after tax, and is only like maybe $2,000 that I just put into it. So I don't know if I'll get 2 checks or not. I got to call Fidelity and find out what the rules are. Like, do I get 2 checks, one for the pre-tax and one for the post-tax? I'm sure they'll let me know about all that. But in general, I think I've got, last time I checked, there's like maybe $340,000 in that 401k. I mean, I did, I think, 6 years of maxing a 401k, so like $20,000. I was dumping in there for about 6 years, and then I had to kind of slow down because I bought this house, so I needed a little bit more liquidity during those 3 years. So, but it was a good savings for 9 years, 340,000. All the company match is all 100% vested. If you don't know what vested means, it's like where you have to stay at a company for a certain number of years before your match is yours. And this company had 100% vested equity on day one. They never did any sort of timeline. Some companies, they make you stay there for like 3 years sometimes to get 100% vested. Otherwise, you might only get like 60% of the match back. So I'm very fortunate there. I'm very happy about that. And what's funny is my new employer, the HR guy, he's the Chief Financial Officer. Somebody asked him, should I roll over my 401k into your guys' 401k? And the guy was like, nah, I wouldn't even bother doing that, because it's like you're so limited. And, I even looked at the little booklet, and there was like no decent funds that I was seeing. So we'll see. I don't know about my new 401k, but I've got my old one, so I got to do something with it. So I'm definitely going to roll it over, I think. And so now I got to figure out what to do. I've never had that much cash in a cash position, meaning, when you roll it over, it's going to roll over into a cash position. I don't think I would roll it over into the same positions that I'm in. So I'm going to start out in cash, which at 4% yield, which is what the government bonds are pretty much printing these days, That'll collect me 12,000, yeah, $12,000 a year, maybe 13 with that extra 40 grand. So with $12,000, even just sitting in cash, I'll take the 12 grand and go dump it into stocks or mutual funds, either one. I think I'd like to get a little bit more AMD chip position, but I don't know. I've still got a decent position there. I've got, I think, 17,000 in AMD. So I don't know. Maybe I could get that up to 30,000. That would be kind of cool. 30,000 in AMD at the price levels they're at. If it goes to $1 trillion, that's a 5x. So I might actually add 15 grand out of that 340 into AMD. Now, what else am I going to do? Am I going to put more in Tesla stock? No, I don't think so. To be honest, I've got enough in it. I don't need more Elon Musk exposure. I'm sick of the politics. I love the company, but I'm sick of him. He's got some antics and some problems, some ego problems. But I'm going to keep the position in Tesla that I do have because I do believe in the company. It's got this crazy technology. You guys have hear me talking about that. So what am I gonna do with the other, $320,000 if I do deploy some in AMD? What I'm thinking about doing is I've got these two mutual funds, these Fidelity Select Software Services and Fidelity Select Retail. I've had these mutual funds for 13 years and I'm super happy with them. Their dividends are awesome. I think like the yield is like 8% every year. And they do grow, not as fast as the SPY because they're probably outputting a dividend in cash. So I think maybe I'll double up each one of those positions. Each position is right around, I think, $35,000. So a total of 70 grand. So I might take 35 and put into one, take another 35, put in the other, collect double the dividend on both those positions. That would be nice. And then that would leave me with around 250,000, $250,000 in cash, sitting there collecting 4%. And then I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait and look for opportunities as they come. I'm going to wait for dips in the market. Maybe it's the news media is going to go on the attack on Palantir. That's the one I'm waiting for. I guarantee you, Palantir is going to falter with sales one of these quarters, and then the media is going to be all over it. Maybe they'll have a scandal or something like that. I don't know. And then maybe I can get back into Palantir, maybe around $50 a share. That would be nice. That would be nice. If it gets down to $50 a share, I'm going to dump 50 grand into Palantir. That'd be a good size position for the ramp up to $1 trillion. I think that's where that company's going. I don't know if it'll dip that far, to be honest. Maybe it'll dip to 70 again. That's a 50% drop, though. So I don't know. That's a tough one. Now, the problem is, this money that I have in the 401k, it's more, I think of it as my conservative investment fund. And I don't want to be too aggressive with it. That's why I'm thinking those two mutual funds that are more conservative is where I'm going to stick, two big chunks of money in, just so I can continue to get exposure in the stock market and not just be in cash, because 4%, I'm 45, I still got to grow my money more than 4%. So now the interesting thing is that if I sell sometime this week or maybe next week, hopefully, I think I'll be selling at the all-time highs of the market. We were down like 1% today, but we just hit all-time highs like last week before 4th of July. So it's probably not a bad time to sell and to go into cash with this position. So I got to call Fidelity tomorrow, verify how I got to do it again. I haven't done a rollover in 15 years or something like that. But I'll tell you what, you guys, if you ever lose your job and you can still afford to live and all that, and you don't have to cash out your 401k, I highly recommend rolling it over and taking control. That's how I've built a vast majority of my wealth, is I rolled over 2 previous 401ks into an IRA, and I've been playing with it ever since, investing in different positions over time. And for the most part, I've just held these positions. I haven't really sold and bought a ton of new positions. I only did it like 2 or 3 times with Google and Tesla. And I've done it a little bit with AMD and Palantir. I bought Palantir, sold it, bought a little more AMD now. And now I'm going to, potentially start to make another move, make a few more moves here and there in the markets, and then kind of sit and wait for the next 10 years, 15 years, collect some dividends along the way, maybe collect some interest on the cash along the way. That's what you guys got to do. Invest 6% in your 401k in your 20s, maybe more if you can. If you can do it more aggressively, that's the way to do it. Go to 10% if you can afford it. If you're living with your mom and dad, like you hear about all these Gen Zers doing, dude, take advantage of it. Save 10%, okay? And roll that money over into an IRA whenever you get the opportunity, because you can make moves like I'm doing. So, I got a lot of pondering to do with the market, but I'm going to take my time. That's what you got to do in the market. Patience is virtue in this game. Even in those positions, the mutual funds, I'm talking about putting 35K into each one. I will be taking my time even on entering those positions. To be honest, I'll wait for hopefully a couple dips and maybe add, $5,000 a piece, $5,000 a piece, $2,000 a piece, $2,000 a piece, until I've gotten to another 35K in those 2 mutual funds. So the key to deploying money in the market is taking your time. I'm not a financial professional. I'll disclose that. I can't tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. These are my strategies that I use, and it's all about deploying money slowly. A lot of people, they'll go to financial advisors like JP Morgan, and they'll have like 100, 200, 300,000 from like maybe, let's say, an inheritance. And what will JP Morgan do? They'll buy the entire load in one order. Okay, that's what they'll do. I think they did it with my parents. Like, I think they had some money they had with some JP Morgan, and it goes all in at once. They don't even like nibble on these positions. They'll just put it all in at once, at the all-time highs. At least they don't even wait for a dip. Okay. So yeah, that's my position I'm in. It's a good position to be in, to be honest. I didn't like the whole termination and rehiring position that I had to deal with, but now it provides an opportunity for change, right? You got to take advantage of change and take advantage of your situation. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And hey, I want kind of what you guys think I should do. I'd like your guys' advice. I've got a lot of subscribers now with varying levels of investment experience, and tell me what you guys think. What are some positions that you think I should explore? I'm up for exploring some new opportunities out there. I've been kind of stuck in the same stocks for a while, and maybe I should look into VU or SPY or QQQ. I don't even have those positions, so those might be an opportunity. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comments below what you think I should do. Should I just leave my money in the 401k, or should I move it over? Should I have more control? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And yeah, if you guys like the content, like and subscribe. If you could, I'd appreciate it. And take a look at my previous video. And everyone, have a great day. Safe investing out there. Later.